feel like I'm mixing a lot of my own opinions on this one. X5 is complicated. Like, 4 was complicated, but for, like, different reasons. But 5 is complicated for, like, entirely different ones.
Yeah.
Alright, so, Izzy Glow. First of all, I love Izzy Glow. This Dowlade is one of my favorites. Spark of Intelligence, Shining Firefly, Izzy Glow. Shining Firefly is another one that's just like, that's so good. Like, all of them in this one are so good.
Also, it's Dr. Izzy Glow.
That's right.
One thing I would have liked, especially for that last level, is if you ran through the game, through the level fast enough, they didn't go Maverick because you got to them in time.
That would be kind of cool.
Or if you took too long, they were Maverick to begin with.
That's interesting, because that will get changed based on the order of events and, like, the ending stuff. So, like, for example, say you shoot the colony down, or you try to shoot the colony down right away. So, like, you use the laser, it fails. You use the backup shuttle, it fails. Space colony crashes. It doesn't even bother with the timer at that point anymore. It just happens because there's nothing you can do about it in the story. And at that point, I'm pretty sure anybody that was going to turn Maverick instead of already openly being antagonistic actually is a Maverick. But at the very least, the dialogue does change, and it kind of reflects that kind of thing. So, like, if I were to get the Enigma working, and then shoot the colony down, so that you don't have to fight to get the shuttle parts, which is what happens in our other one. Spoilers, yeah, that's whatever.
Spoilers for this episode.
Oh yeah. So, oh yeah, no, that works out perfectly then, so I don't fucking care. Oh my god, I just lost my train of thought.
The dialogue would be different.
The dialogue would be different. I guess that was the whole thought. I feel like there was something else that was going to be attached to that.
So, what's that level meter down in the bottom left?
Have we seen one of the floating heads yet?
We'll see them in this stage.
Okay, so they're for that. Jesus, you couldn't have just waited like a second, you dickbag. So that's the Sigma virus, which, of course it is. There's a shit ton of damage. Don't ride up on those getting crushed into the ceiling. There's like a half bar. The normal meter down below is your infection rate. And this is another interesting thing about this game, because it works differently for X and Zero. X, it will slowly go up from normal to caution to danger to virus. So there's like 4 levels of it, which means you need to get hit 4 times. And when it hits virus, you either take damage over a set interval of time, which you just can't fucking do anything about, which is really scary, so you do want to avoid them just so it doesn't stack up, which is more threatening later on than in this, which is like you're 1 or whatever. Or it makes it so that you take more damage. I'm not sure which it is, because it barely ever happens to me. If you're 0, for plot reasons, we'll get to this in a second. Don't worry, I will be angry in just a second. If you're 0, it doesn't damage you, it makes you strong.
It's kind of cool.
Exactly. For plot reasons, it's fantastic.
So this
fucking background. No, I can say it first.
I respect that it's more visually impressive than the one in 4, but holy shit. What are you doing?
A, it's worse in every possible way. Really, like, sure, maybe it's more visually impressive, but fuck you, no, it's not, just because of the context. B, it's a goddamn ripoff again, because we already did this, but better, which means it's more downhill from here stuff in an instance where it just shouldn't be present and shouldn't be a problem. It just, it's so frustrating. And this, again, is just the game of just the worst perspective. 6 kind of fixes it almost. But the fact that it was an issue to fix in the first place is frustrating twofold, because A, it shouldn't have been a problem in the PlayStation games at all, and B, this is just offensive. Like, this is bad.
No, yeah, it's terrible. Especially when you have the 4 bars coming down.
And it sucks, because I love the idea of this mini-boss, too, so it's like you're putting a great idea over just shit.
By taken completely out of context, it's a more dynamic shot than the one in X4.
You're not wrong. If you're just looking at it, it's kind of pretty.
It's better than the one in X4, in that one respect.
So I kind of like this stage, minus the spiral staircase. And that's the other thing, is like, it doesn't need to be there at all. It's just an intermediate between 2 normal platforms.
So what you're saying is it's slowing you down?
You're not wrong. But I like this. Like, it feels interesting because it's like you're infiltrating a castle. And like when I was looking at the whole map, I realized how much I like this because of like asset creation again. Because like you go in through a drawbridge, up all the red carpet and stuff like that. There's like castle arches in the background, things like that. It's very grandiose, which is a laboratory, I guess. I don't know why the crescent weapon destroys that, but that's how you get in here. It has to be that. And then you go through the shitty spiral staircase, which on its own would kind of make sense, except it's terrible, so don't. Just ignore it. And then you're in here, which is like the inner workings of the laboratory. There's defense mechanisms, and then you climb up a tower in order to get into the boss room, which you'll see in a second. And it's just like, you can kind of picture it from the outside, where like, you're going in the inner workings of the castle, through the security, up like the spire where like the Lord works. And it's just like, that's cool. I like that. Like, thematically, this is one of my better stages in I don't know, in this one or in all of the PlayStation games. It's just a good stage, I like it.
I just like that these stages have more verticality to them than a lot of the X4 stages had.
Some of them. Because then there's also
like
the Grizzly Slash stage, which has almost none. And there's other ones which are somehow almost more flat feeling than that, which part of it is how I personally play it, but in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. I see what you're saying. Also, you can use, what the hell is the name? The Crescent, the shot, the Crescent, actually, it's called Crescent Shot. Grizzly Slash is the weapon. You can destroy all of these, I think. It's just only the one has a secret behind it.
Ilya, please, it's looking at me.
Yeah, like I said, there's a shit ton of that in this, which I know you know, but... Oh yeah, this is the Spire part, and I like that it actually has a unique background to it. Like, it's not reusing tiles or whatever you want to call it from earlier on in the stage. It's like you're actually going up a tower.
Yeah.
Cool. And then you could be like, well, wait a minute. Why is this person working up a tower and doesn't have a ladder? It's like, well, you can fly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even fucking matter. It makes perfect sense.
All the level design forgiven. Why isn't that animated?
It kind of will be in a moment. While he's talking, I was told that Firefly would be a sort of professor-like character, so that could only mean two things. Glasses and distinguished facial hair. Oh, actually, I like this part, too. Is, the red stripe I put along the top of his head is supposed to be a sort of bald look. So he's supposed to just be, like, this little grumpy professor, which I love that so much.
So, why don't the bosses have idle animations in this one?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. I've never noticed that.
My X is just heaving shit down there, but his glow's just hanging, frozen, while the background is also frozen but flashing.
Yeah.
We wasted all our FMV budget on the staircase and can't have a 3-frame background animation. Ugh.
No, they didn't waste it on that. They wasted it on backgrounds for later on in the game.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You want an animated background. Also, I guess while we're doing this, I like this weakness against him because you kind of need to aim it.
Oh, hey, it's a vertical weapon against a flying
There's
boss.
also that. And if you miss, the way it travels along the ground like that can actually hit him if he's up close enough to the ceiling or the wall. So it actually works out. It's a weapon that's designed around it.
Exactly. Like, that's how weakness weapons should work.
Yep. But yeah, like, he's cool. I love him.
Also, it seems like you get a fuck ton of ammunition for special weapons in this one.
I'm using the armor, and I'm pretty sure the armor gives you more ammo. And I can't confirm... Well, I mean, I could confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Also, while he's exploding, I'm going to go over this really quick because I realized that, like, all these bosses have notes, so I might as well go over them. For Crescent Grizzly, I drew Grizzly to look like a construction foreman, the kind of guy you'd want to call boss. He has heavy machinery on one hand and has a neck like a log from working out.
My God.
And then, this one's kind of dumb because speed isn't really conveyed with him too much in the actual fight, kind of. But, for Volt Krakens, I tried to convey a real sense of speed while designing Kraken, especially around the lines of his back. And that's that. That's all the notes I missed. So, not a whole hell of a lot, but whatever. Actually, I guess I could go over other character notes right now, too, but I don't know if this is a good time for filler or not, so I will wait.
Not.
So yeah, Sigma Fire. I love this too, like, we already talked about it, but I really like that she actually gives you a rundown on like the stage and character and what you got. It's such a 50-50, like it's so close to being right.
And that's, I think, what makes me so upset about the PlayStation games is they're so close to being good.
Yep.
It's like, no, please,
you're right there.
I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
To be topical, for just a second, it's like Halo 5. That's all I'll say about it.
Oh! That's fired. Hey, that's a gun. Also, Douglas.
Speaking of shots fired, yeah, so Douglas has already talked. We've just been talking overall. The viewers at home will know.
Douglas doesn't show up again, does he?
No, he does. So, the thing that bothers me, and I guess spoilers, whatever, Aelia, obviously, and Cygnus both show up for the rest of the series. They're important. Douglas doesn't. Douglas shows up in 6. And maybe in 7. I don't think so. But he only shows up in these 2, and it's like, well, what? Like, I love his design, and he's like the mechanic character, and I mean, maybe it's because they wanted to give Aelia a little bit more of that. Mm-hmm. And then in 8, like, there's another character that kind of does it too, but it's like, you could have stuck around. And I don't know. Like, it sucks, because this is the one where they actually try to start building continuity with like characters that don't immediately get killed off and stuff like that. So it's a bummer that, like, one of the ones that was introduced with that in mind didn't make it, even though I like him. Like, I think that's a good scientist design, personally.
Yeah, I don't mind him.
So
he's the Ratchet of this game.
Kinda. He's a little bit too nice. Assuming you're talking about Transformers Ratchet.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
No, I'm not really familiar with Transformers Ratchet outside of Transformers Prime.
I think Ratchet's mostly more. We'll talk about that another time. But, yeah, so this is the canon story path, I guess now is because the laser cannon. Just because it's happening right now, is this is what's supposed to happen. Is you repair the cannon, you fire it, it hits the colony, but it doesn't destroy it, it just kind of buys you more time. So it's like, alright, shit, that didn't work. We'll go with the shuttle plan. We need to figure out who's going to pilot it, but in the meantime, let's at least repair it to make sure that it'll make it to the colony. And I like this one because the shuttle will fly on its own, which obviously makes sense because you're making it so that the Enigma will fire stronger. But this one, it's like, well, you're going to crash into the colony. What do you need to do? So you're increasing the speed of it to make it hit harder. You're adding a fuel tank to make it get far enough. And then I think stability to make sure it'll aim properly, and then
durability?
I think it's durability. Well, there's the orbiter wing, fuel tank,
the booster
engine. And they're going to go through them right now, but what the hell is the fourth one? There's a fourth thing, and it might be that. But the whole premise is like there's debris coming off of the colony, and it's flying really quickly, so it's like you need to hit it hard, accurate, and not get destroyed before you can get to it.
Yeah.
Details. Come on, see, this sucks. This is now
orbiter engine.
Oh, it's not orbiter wing? Okay, so it's orbiter engine, orbital wing. Because I know there's a blank wing, like an orbit wing or something.
Booster!
So yeah, there's an engine, a booster, a wing. He's got the wing, so naturally it's the last fucking we need to fucking... Oh, it's fuel tank! Right? It has to be.
I think so. I thought we...
Yeah. So there's an engine, a booster, the fuel tank, and the wing.
What's the difference between the booster and an engine?
Well, I guess the booster would be like an extra rocket, but...
Well, I guess we're
doing... Jesus Christ.
It's alright, this one's really sped up. We're just going right here because fuck...
Oh, yeah.
The antique.
So this is the very first... So... Not the very first. We're finishing the first new armor in this one, which you all get to see until the next episode. I hate this capsule, and it sucks because I love the armor. I don't mind the stage entirely. It's still shitty, but I don't mind it the most. A, you need his weapon to get it, which means you have to do this stage a minimum of 2 times, which I'm not a huge fan of. B, you need to back up. So it's Ground Hunter. Like I said, Goose Shaver is basically Ground Hunter. So you can hold down while you fire it, and it immediately gravitates toward the ground and then follows it. If you do that too close, no matter what, it'll still hit that wall. So you have to back away from it. If you hit the edge of the screen, you transition past this room to a loading zone. Which means if you go too far...
It's not a loading zone.
Well, not a loading zone.
It transitions into the fucking boss.
A checkpoint. And that's the thing is, I think it's a checkpoint. I'm almost 100% positive it is. But either way, if you go too far, you get stuck into a completely different phase of the level and you can't just walk back in. And you basically have to get right to the edge of it. And that's just the worst thing.